Hello, people. How's it going? I remember the name here. Anyway. How's it going? Since the last time I was on here, an hour ago. First of all, a little Henry reading. Henry, the pen name of William Sidney, born in Greensboro, North Carolina, in 1862. His mother died of tuberculosis when he was 3. His father, a doctor, became an alcoholic and tried to invent a perpetual motion machine. Educated at a small school run by his aunt, Young were doing out to work in a drugstore at 15. Later, he traveled to Texas on a ranch. He, too, was showing symptoms of tuberculosis. Spent 10 years in Austin, Texas, remarried, worked as a bank teller, purchased weekly newspapers, Rolling Stone, but the paper failed. In 1894, Porter was accused of embezzling bank funds. Eventually, he fled to Honduras, returned to only in 1897, sitting with his dying wife. Committed to a federal penitentiary in Ohio, he began writing under the name of Henry. Following his release in 1901, he lived in New York City. Beloved, back then on the subway, a prolific writer, often touring out a story a week. Busy fellow. Let's see when he grew. His first book, Cabbages and Kings, appeared in 1904 and was followed by 13 other collections. His stories have been translated and read all over the world, so popular that they never went out of print. But Henry Sigler was a Spanish spendthrift, and finally an alcoholic. He died in poverty at June 5th, 1910. He was actually a pretty good deal with the common man. Just a common criminal, some of the stories. Life in New York City a lot of times. I read a few of the stories. I'm not going to say he's a top 10 writer I like, but I like some of his style. It's very simple, it's very straightforward. It's very interesting. The endings are always interesting. I like endings. I think I've been on Wednesday, I think. I just didn't feel like bringing one of my longer books, so I just brought this 3 to 2 short stories. I managed to get one done. It was a busy week. I read Shearing the Wolf. Pretty much it's about grifters, or at least con artists. One of them is planning to expose another con artist in Chicago, and 2 of the other ones don't like this idea, so they're going to try to stop him. It's kind of a minor palette in the stories. It's interesting. It's not boring. It's not boring. It's kind of routine, kind of a mundane story, but it's written well. Henry's not all his stories were great, but when he wrote a good story, like Get to the Magi, they were good stories. So, but anyway, I started this book this week. If you same author as this book, same author as this book. Harry de Lear first saw the horse he was named Snowman on a truck bound for the slaughterhouse. The recent Dutch immigrant recognized the spark in the eyes of the beaten-up nag and bought him $80. On Harry's modest farm in Long Island, he ultimately taught Snowman how to fly. Basically, it's a jump rope. The show horse, jumping horse. It's actually been pretty good so far. I mean, he doesn't talk much about it. He doesn't talk anything, actually. Of his life during World War II. He was obviously part of the Dutch underground. It mentions Operation Market Garden. The very bad idea, the airborne invasion of Holland. Overall, it's not a bad book so far. I mean, it does talk about the horse, it talks about his family, it talks about Knox writing school that he works for, his interactions with the kids. It's an all-girls school, so it's an all-girls stuff. So far, I'm liking this book. So it's well written, it's well detailed. It talks a lot about the horse trade in the 1950s, and it talks a lot of history, a lot of interesting anecdotes, a lot of interesting stories. And so far, I'm liking this book. I ordered this book for my mom. She should get it next week. It's most of them were. This one I still think was the better book of last year. I don't remember if I talked about this one, but I did finish this book. I did it 2 weeks ago. I have too many books at one time. What do you want from me? This book's kind of cool. It does talk about his marriage, and it does talk about his kids, and it talks about his interaction with the horses, and it does talk about him as a teacher. So this book is excellent. If you like stories of basically biographies of humans interacting with horses, and how horses were treated, and how horses were used, and the good and the bad, good and the bad. It is well detailed. It is well written. Has a lot of most of her novels are. I've only read two of them, so. So when the horse that inspired a nation, it talks about his he becomes a horse, a steeple jumper. I mean, this horse does not look like an old one. It could jump, but it does like it kept escaping. He sold the horse to somebody else, and the horse kept escaping from that person and coming back to where he was. It's quite entertaining. But quite a decent picture. You like the jump? He was a plow horse for 10 years. Worked on an Amish farm. He won famous horse of the year twice. 58, 59, I believe, if I remember correctly. I mean, I've read that much all along. That's how much I've read this week. That's how much the story interested me. Well written, very well. That one was something that I was hoping would be good. It started out as good. JD. Reed High, the Roof Beams Carpenters. That's the one I've read. I didn't read the other story. It started out well. It started out interesting. Characters were at least somewhat interesting. And then it just seems to just abruptly stop. Like the resolution just instantaneously happened. It's like I think he was writing the story and realized he didn't have any idea how to finish it. And so he just finished it with a phone call. I was enjoying this. I was enjoying this story. And then it just ends abruptly. It's like, okay, it feels disjointed how it ends. It almost feels like he just sort of wrote himself into a corner and couldn't figure out how to end it very well. So he just ended it. I mean, it started out so well. It did. I was giving JD credit for the story when I started. His skull is still out. But anyway, I didn't do a whole lot of reading because I did most of it being this book, which was a very good book. But I was disappointed. I'm sorry. I was disappointed how this ended. It started out well. The characters were interesting. Maybe a little stereotypical here and there, maybe a little over the top, but it seemed to be going somewhere where I thought it would be good. And it just abruptly ends. It's like, either you plan to do it this way, which makes it make a little less sense, or you literally put yourself into a corner and you couldn't figure out how to get yourself out of it. But anyway, I didn't do a lot of reading of those three things, but of the three, this was probably the best one. Now, hopefully, next week, I am going to do an entire book review of this one. Because I told my mom I would, and my mom wants to hear one. So this book would be worthy in a review on its own. This is a very good book. I've told you, this is probably one of the top 3 books I read last year. It is good. As I told my mom, I'm going to do an entire book review on just this book alone. Hopefully, next week, well, not sooner maybe, I'll have an entire book out. That's pretty much all I read. It was a busy. I do a lot of my reading at work, unless if it's busy, I can't do anything about that. Besides, my job lets me read when it's slow, so I have no complaints on that. But overall, I mean, O. Henry, yeah, it was. I think I was bored of reading. I think I was reading the J.D. Salinger book at the time, and it was just spiraling out of interest for me. I've read some of O. Henry stuff. I've read The Gift of the Magi, Found It There. Oh, yes, sorry. Fury of the Wolf I just talked about. He's probably one of those authors I probably find more interesting. It's probably not fair to him, but it would be the truth. I didn't read anything else this week. It's been kind of, well, slow when it comes to reading. But you know what? That horse one, that's good. That's very good. Okay, well, thank you for watching. Comment, share, like, subscribe. Behave yourselves, people. You know, I'm not going to. Later. Later. Come on. Come on, you silly machine.